Hello, everybody. This is VG Time, and I am back again, this time with a guest deck profile for a good friend of mine and playtesting partner, Raymond, who came in second place at the Core TCG Online event over the weekend. Now, Raymond, how did you like or what did you think about these online events?
So the online events, they run smoothly and they're pretty fun. Being able to play at home is pretty dope. Meeting new people and stuff. The only thing is just like you got to be careful of what deck you choose. So enter a best of one with 30 minutes, depending on the OT you go with. It's just like you can definitely go into overtime and then it's a tie and then no one really enjoys a tie.
That's understandable. So you had a couple of choices for decks. What made you bring Bulma?
Honestly, she's been my favorite leader since she was released. Being able to just turn all your red and yellow Earthling Saiyans into blockers makes the defense part of the game just extremely easy. Now your cards have an added keyword that they didn't have before.
Alrighty. So we're going to go into the decks itself, and actually before we do that, can you tell us what matchups you had each round if possible?
If I can remember, round one was Vegex. That was my tie. Round two was Green Gotenks. I had some experience playing with the matchup, and you're kind of favored because they have to play. Well, they don't have to play, but they play into your Bunny Girl with their fusions. The only thing you have to worry about is their unison being ridiculously good. But after that, as long as you don't kill their Gotenks, they run out of cards, and then you'll be able to turn it around and kill them. Round three was SS3, the reboot. That matchup was pretty cool. It just came down to my cards were on the board, and his weren't. Round four was Green Ginyu, which is one of your decks that you like to play. So I kind of knew the matchup, and when it comes to green and blue, Shin Senran just gives you that control aspect where you just rip their battle cards for free and you run over their board, you keep their board clean, and you just play the defense. Round five was Reboot Gohan, and you know how Reboot Gohan is. They kill you, they try to kill you on turn two. If they can't kill you, you win, and I played it pure defense. They swing, I go super combo with 8 life. I leave my energy up, go Videl, literally just block or negate their leader swings and you'll be good. And then last round, another Reboot Gohan where they did the same thing. They just went for it. Normally they go for it, which there's an argument there going into the red, but it happens.
All right, so we're going to get into the deck right now. As you can see from his list, he has a wide variety of cards. He has a little different thought process on ratios. So let's just explore his mindset on this. So we see that we have 4 copies of Mai and 1 copy of Pilaf from set 10. What was your logic on that?
Mai just looks better, personally. Pilaf is definitely the better choice because it allows you to get the option of grabbing the 4-drop unison or not. But Mai just looks better to me. And I didn't have any more Pilaf, so I just went with the 1. The ratio would be the other way around if I had it for more of a competitive sense.
All right, and then we see that we have the Pilaf, the Cunning. How often did that come up for you as far as being viable, like for instance in that SS3 game?
It came up once. I put it in as my 51 card because I had no idea how greedy blue can be and how ridiculous blue can be. Like, I didn't know if they play like the big Kefla, go just draw a bunch of cards and do shenanigans. So I was just like, all right, let's make their life a little harder. That's an Earthling, and at least it replaces itself. It came up once where he wanted to swing. It came up once where he could have swung, put a damage on my Unison, and then made a booty to summon a bunch of tokens to attempt to kill my Unison. But because he didn't have enough cards in the drop, he just couldn't play Bean. So it might have saved my Shin Shenron that, kind of carried me that game. So it earned its spot.
So that's really cool. Now we have the Videl package. We have 2 copies of the World Tournament Negate Videl, which is a great choice for Bulma. Of course, negate and be able to block. Now the set 8 Videl, actually. Explain her to me.
So the set 8 Videl allows you to play multiple copies of Saiyans. So like multiple copies of super combos, multiple copies of my tech choices of like SSB and the Vegetas. There's here. Now, but yeah, it allows you to play multiple copies, and also it lets you go infinite if you have both of them, because she is also a Saiyan. So you never run out of cards in your deck, and it lets you put Bunny Girl, which is your best card in your deck, put it back in the deck. You have a lot of shuffling, a lot of top 5 searches. So eventually, even if the Bunny Girl's at the bottom of the deck, you can get more copies of it.
Makes a lot of sense. So then, of course, we have the Trunks for Self-Awakening, and we have the Baba, which is a Earthling staple. And then, of course, Topo. How was Topo working out for you? Because a lot of people kind of shied away since there's a lot of counter plays going around, but how did it work out for you?
So I do not have copies of Violent Rays or any of the newer stuff, but Topo is still one of the best red cards ever printed. And if they don't have it, it normally ends the turn. Not that many people would want to discard 2 cards just for a swing that's going to get blocked anyways.
Makes a lot of sense. Now we get to the MVP of your deck, Bulma the Bunny Girl. Speak about your love of this card and how it helped you win games today.
Oh, so I read this card and I was just like, yeah, you know what? I'm going to play a deck around it because this card is crazy. It allows you to just get value off all your guys for free. And like, who can argue with it? It looks beautiful too. Just a great card because it allows you to summon any of your Earthlings that you play.
And then next up we have our super combos. We have a 2-2 split between Nappa, Demolition Man, and Sideline Assist Bulma. What made you go to this split versus having 4 of each?
So I found out in testing that you don't really need that much defense, which Nappa provides. Like, you definitely want to, but you would like to be able to super combo for draw, and pushing that 10k to and the defense is just great. Allows you to get to reborn her and shuffle her back in the deck. Top 5 search your super combos. Definitely a great choice.
And then next up we have our Yamchas. And this one might raise some people's eyebrows, but we have 3 Everyone Pals, 1 Lawless, 1 100%, and 1 Desert Hyena. So what made you go with this lineup? Which, by the way, I do like Everyone's Pal because of its utility, but I want you to speak further on that.
I only have 1 Lawless at the moment. I still believe like Everyone's Pal is a great card. I would still put it at, I would do maybe the other way around, which is like 3 Lawless, 1 Pal. But whenever I landed Pal and I swung, I was able to get exactly what I needed, or an Earthling that was relevant to the game state is just like being able to search for more bunny girls or more super combos. It's just great. I know, and having to wait for just a draw, you might prefer just taking that top 3 chance or bunny girl, or just drawing a random card that might not be as good as the Earthlings that you center your deck around.
Alrighty, and what about 100% in the Desert Hyena?
So I decided to play 100% to fuel my my drop area, because sometimes like sometimes the only targets you have for Bunny Girl is the 1-drops that search you. So at least it gets you a card back for using her. But this allows you to actually get like your bigger cards, or high impact cards, like maybe the desert, or the Everybody's Pal, or a super combo if you need it. It just gives you more option, and being able to combo this with your Shenron to swing over weenies in active mode and deal 2 damage that can't be negated. It comes up a lot. It hasn't won me the game yet, but it got me there. It got me to the point where now I put you down to 2 life, and now you got to be worried about the next swing.
And the Desert Hyena, had that come up for you at the tournament?
I didn't get to play him once, but it was good to have, because you need a bomb. You need that just in case. You need to make him sweat some way, somehow. I don't think I would ever tap 4 for him unless it's like guaranteed. But when you summon him for free, and at worst he's a 30k blocker, that's still a lot. A lot to get over, and offensively he's a monster.
Now, next up we have the black cards. We have the Smoke Dragon and the Fu Shrouded in Mystery. Tell me about how those cards worked out for you.
Unfortunately, I didn't get to play Smoke once in the tournament, but it's still my favorite SCR, hands down. It looks the best. It has 3 fantastic effects. But no, I would definitely keep running it in the deck. There's no other SCR I'd play. Except for Baby Fu. The other SCR, this card is crazy. This card right here, if you ever charge to 6, you gotta play this card. This card is just too good. Even if you can't kill him that turn, preventing your opponent from activating skills, especially Unisons, puts a stun on them that no other card can compare.
That's very true. And now we get to your Unison lineup, which is 2 Vegito and 3 of what I think is possibly in the top 3 cards of your deck. Sin Shenron Unison. Speak about these and their impact on the games over the weekend.
So, I didn't get to play Vegito in the tournament, but I play him all the time whenever I don't see Shenron, or the matchup is slow enough where you can actually churn out value churn out your weenies, get more value, or if you need to, at worst, you can play him for 4, put a stun on your opponent, because some decks cannot play without summoning cards off card effects. Putting that lock on them kind of ends their turn in some decks, which is just that utility that you really need. The -5 on Vegito, I never got to use it yet, but I'm waiting for the day.
Yes, that'll be pretty cool. I can't wait to hear that story. Next up, we have this Vegeta counterplay that I don't think a lot of people play. So speak about that and why you chose to play that card.
Oh yeah, for sure. This is like Beerus Ball. For 1 energy, I know Beerus Ball can be free, but it does the same requirements, but it turns into a blocker, and it's also a 5k combo at worst.
And I see that you got the SSB Kaioken, which of course is board wipe and barrier removal. And then you have the two Yamcha counter plays, which kind of is, kind of par for the course. Then you're running one of my favorite cards, Android 17. The of course negate attacks and or recur to one drops. So now you have this interesting negate lineup where you have a singleton of the drop negate, 2 copies of After Image. Is that all you got? And a Wolf Fang Fist. You mind talking about that lineup?
Oh yeah, so I ran a 50 card deck, and you don't really need extra card negates when all your weenies are blockers. It's essentially the same thing because they can't, if they know to play around Bunny Girl, they don't remove your blockers, so they stay on the board. So as long as you're tapping your energy for the weenies, they're kind of the same thing. But you need the drop negate against Invoker or any other decks, and sometimes if they forget about it, you punish them really hard. You need After Image because this card is crazy, not having to tap an energy for it, taking a life to help self awaken, and making your weak Bulma 50k. It's very hard to out combo. I did the one is that all you got because I still kind of struggle with aggro, like AOD for example, if they're able to just slam a bunch of weenies on the board as soon as possible. You do get overwhelmed by decks like that if you can't get to the later stages like 3. So I played the one. Wolfgang Fist because I wanted to test it. I wanted to see how good the card is actually, and it's not that bad. You would love to have it in your hand when you have your Shenron out because normally that would stop like one attack. You need something to protect your Unison when you get it out there. But giving the best for last, my favorite fucking Unison ever printed. This card is crazy. It gives you the ability to fight the board against any deck. It turns their 20k beaters into 5ks that your leader can now take a card off of. Now your leader has something to do instead of just drawing and sitting there. Then by the following turn when you have 4 markers, you can just look at their hand, rip an important card, a combo piece or anything important, and then you have the weenies to back it up to block and keep your Unison healthy. This card is my favorite Unison, hands down.
Alrighty, so with the release of upcoming sets, what changes do you think you see yourself making down the line?
Honestly, I would probably have to come at this deck with a different idea, maybe tune down the 1-drops and go towards more 2-drop engines because the Shenron, the new expansion Shenron, is going to be really good for Earthlings, allowing you to just not ever have to pay energy for these. Sit on that Unison for as long as you want. And I think that would be better going forward. Changes towards this deck at the moment, I think it's pretty solid. I think it's really fun. I don't think it's the strongest deck or that competitively viable with everything being released, but I think it holds its own. And the greatest strength of this deck is the defense. If you like being defensive, having your energy up, and just reoccurring value, this could be the deck for you. Because once you sit at 4, you can wait until Smoke is live. You can wait until Fu is live. You can just be chilling until when you wait till your opponent plays into your cards.
Alrighty. So thank you again, Raymond, for doing this deck profile with me. Is there any shout outs you want to make?
Oh yeah, shout out to VG Time, shout out to Tim, my boy, testing partner, helped me, kind of find a solid list to take to a tournament for fun. Shout out to Joseph Campbell, my boy, lets me borrow cards. And that's pretty much it.
Alrighty. So as you guys can see, decks don't have to all look exactly the same. You could have a lot of creativity and choice. And hopefully Raymond's deck list is something that inspire you to make those more incisive decisions. So thank you again, and this is VG Time signing out.